Good evening, my fellow Riz Elite members. This is Chris with Riz International, and this is your weekly market recap. Well, it has been somewhat of an up and down week in the S&P 500. We kind of started off green on Monday. Then we kind of lost a little bit on Tuesday, Wednesday, but still looking nice and up. Thursday, we hit a new all-time high, which is 4429.97 on the S&P 500. And then Friday, we kind of pulled back a little bit. And this is kind of something that I want to talk about that Riz and I talked about actually before I got on the call here. We need to be a little cautious going into Monday, guys. And I'll tell you why. There are two reasons we need to be a little bit hesitant on our plays. And that is going to be Delta variant and the potential blocking of the infrastructure bill in the Congress right now here in the United States. Obviously, with fears of a new coronavirus, variant spreading around, that always has bad effects on the market, like, that back in original COVID. So we've well recovered from that, very much so, actually. The previous high there was about 33, 34. Now we're up to 43, 44. That's a pretty big run, pretty big bull run on the market here since the original COVID hit. And if we have a new variant and it is as communicable as they say it is, we could be potentially in for another ride. So for any plays that we recommend, we're going to be recommending them with a bit of caution. Furthermore, I talked with Riz about this, and it seemed like the infrastructure bill was good to go, everything was fine, and now there's some questions surrounding whether that's going to happen or not. So I can promise you, Riz is going to keep a very, very close eye Sunday night on futures, seeing what the sentiment is surrounding the Delta variant, surrounding the infrastructure bill, and the concern is that the infrastructure bill has already been priced into the market, and it's been priced in a way that they thought it was going to go through. Now, if that doesn't happen, if it does get blocked in Congress, then we could potentially see a bit of, negative reaction from the market from that. People being worried about, inflation. That's the big word that's get thrown around all the time. So we're definitely going to be keeping a close eye on that for all of our elite members who are here live. Keep an eye on your Discord, especially tomorrow night. Going to be a very important time here for the market this week, and this week could be very, very tricky. So make sure you guys are on top of your Discord announcements. Of course, we will be making sure that we at everyone on those announcements, especially in the update section. So make sure you're keeping an eye on that. But let's take a look here, at the rest of the week. So mostly just a sideways week here in the S&P 500. Probably a bunch of hesitation, concern, a little bit of let's wait and see what happens mentality, looking kind of like what's happening right here in the market. Let's take a look at the market sectors here. Not much has changed since last week. Obviously, this little dip here has been recovered very nicely since about the 19th of July. Market's been looking very, very strong, led currently by, and this is probably the first time that I've ever said this, real estate. This is very impressive what real estate has been doing this year. I'm sure that all of you are seeing that in the real estate market. If you own your own home or if you're looking to purchase a home, I can tell you here in my great state of Indiana, home prices are going nuts. I have a friend of mine who lives down in Florida. He tells me it's going double nuts down there. So real estate is on a bull run right now, and that's something to keep an eye on for sure. There is a lot of question whether it has run up too fast, too hard, and where it's going to go from here. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. Real estate and energy really close to each other, both over 30% positive on the year so far. Financials not looking too bad either, up a cool 25%. Tech coming in on fourth place here, up just short of 20% at 19.94%, but currently outperforming the S&P 500, which is up only a paltry 18.91% on the year. Though we've got two sectors that are trailing right now the S&P 500, that would be healthcare, only 17% positive on the year, and utilities, which has been, a little slow, currently just shy of 8%, sitting at 7.94. So, energy and real estate and, financials have really kind of been leading the way all year. If you look back here towards the, January when we started, it has been a big push here, especially on real estate, energy. All have been making very, very good moves. Let's take a look at the asset classes here. Oil, after taking that dip, if you got in on that UCO play that Riz alerted with options, man, you cashed in on this dip here. That was spectacular, but man, what a rebound. Oil here, making a huge push over the last week and a half. Really, really solid, especially here on the call play that we made. I'm not sure if I said put earlier. That would have been a mistake. I did mean the UCO call that we got here after this huge dip. Riz alerted that, so I do apologize for my misspeaking there. But yes, if you did get in on the UCO call, very, very nice move here on oil, and you were able to capitalize on that for sure. Gold has bounced off of this support level here at 1765, and is currently flirting around with the 200 and the 50-day moving averages right now. Not making, it's making a move here, especially on Thursday and Friday, but Thursday it just kind of pushed up, bounced off the moving average, and came back down on Friday. So, gold making a slow grind towards the upside, but having some problems with the moving averages as we, are seeing right now. It does look like gold wants to make that push towards the upside. Not sure if we're going to get back up here towards the, the 1900 range. Again, we feel that that's a little bit overpriced for gold right now. We are not looking to get into any type of physical gold or gold-related plays at this time, as we feel that it's a bit overvalued. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, and we have finally broken out of the downtrend here on Bitcoin. We found support right here at 30,000. That seems to be a very, very solid level for Bitcoin right now, and it, after basically giving us a triple bottom, finally breaking out here, but currently running into resistance right around 42,000 right now that we saw here on this push. Beautiful little hit off of the inflection point here on the daily chart for Bitcoin. So having a little bit of problem there, but man, what a move. Over the last, few 7-8 days, massive push here on Bitcoin, breaking out of this downtrend that it has been on for, a good month and a half, 2 months. So crypto looking to push towards the upside right now, but currently having a little bit of issues. We'll see how that plays out as we've just started a brand new day here on Bitcoin. So we'll have to see how that goes for the rest of the week. Again, we're not taking any plays or recommending any plays currently on cryptocurrency, but if you like playing crypto, this is definitely something that you'd like to see. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trades that we took this week, and then I will talk about some trades that Riz is going to recommend with cautious hesitation. All right, two names here, Spotify being the first one, in long on the 28th at 219.70, and this one is looking freaking spectacular. Already past profit target 1 of 29.50, made it there on Friday, looking really solid off of this dip buy here that we got in off of earnings. Obviously earnings were, pretty darn good, 71%, surprise, and it just sold off. So we got in. This is a straight up knife catch play, and it looks as though we have caught the knife. I can't complain about that one bit. So if you got in on the Spotify play, congratulations. Have fun taking your money to the bank. Another one that got slaughtered post earnings is Pinterest here. Earnings and outlook were spectacular, but the subscriber numbers decreased. So everybody freaked out, and this thing dumped hardcore. Riz got in after hours on Thursday after this dump, and then officially alerted on Friday. I took this trade personally as well. So looking again for a similar move off like what we saw previously with Spotify. It didn't quite make much of a move on Friday, but I will say this is a fairly encouraging pattern here. We did push up, we came back down, and then, we kind of closed a little bit red on it, but a lot of indecision here. So the fact that it did not continue to sell off, we don't have this huge red candle a la what we saw on Thursday, does give us some hope if you got in on this one. I see a lot of you did based on the check marks here on Discord. So definitely a lot of you managed to get in on this play, and so congratulations to that. And definitely I think it's looking pretty good here, to be honest with you. So very, very good. Now I've got some trades from Riz, and of course, being incredibly prepared, I left my phone over in the kitchen. So give me 30 seconds. Let me go grab my phone so I can get the tickers. I'm pretty sure I remember what they are, but I don't want to misquote the man himself. So give me just a second. All right, and we're back. I've got the tickers now from Riz. 2 ideas for you this week. Unilever being the first one, UL. So again, earnings looked pretty solid. A nice, positive move here on earnings, but it got slaughtered from that earnings report. I am not too familiar with this one. I would need to look at the earnings report. I don't recall what happened on this, but definitely making a nice push up. I will say this one's very gappy. It does like to jump around a little bit, so be aware of that. If you do take it long and hold it through the 5th, you will be, good to go for that 50-cent dividend there. So don't miss out on that. That's free money if you want to take this. Now, that being said, if the market decides that, everything that we talked about earlier is a big flipping deal, and, maybe it wants to sell off on Monday, Tuesday, something like that, we may see this go down. So again, this is not something that we currently hold long, but it is something that we are keeping an eye on this week as a potential long play. We do have the moving averages in the way here as well, so we would need to see continuation right now, but cautiously waiting and keeping an eye on this one. And then the second one is LMND. Lemonade. This is one that we have played before. Riz is a big fan of this one. Looks like we're going into earnings here on the 4th, so just a few days. Whew, negative 92 cents per share. That's rough. But yeah, this is one that Riz believes in quite a bit. He has played this before successfully, and looking to potentially take this one again. I will say technically right now, looking a little bit iffy. We have pushed down below the 200, although the 200 is not that long. As you'll notice, it's only been around for a little while, so it may not be holding enough statistical variant or viability right now to be something to worry about. That being said, the 90 does seem to be respected right now. We are in a little bit of a downtrend, so this earnings report will be very interesting. I suspect Riz is going to wait for that earnings report and make a move from there. So we will see on Lemonade, but again, this is one that Riz definitely believes in. He's a fan of and has done some research on, to say the least. So definitely something that to keep an eye on here in the future over the next couple of days. Again, we don't have a position currently, but definitely something that we are looking for in the future. But now is the time where we do go ahead and open it up to questions. So if you do guys have some questions you would like me to take a look at, anything market related, tickers, things like that, go ahead, post them in the chat. Let me know what you want to see, and we can talk about it a little bit. I'll wait for you guys to get your questions posted here. But yeah, there's a lot of chitter chatter recently in the market about, not just the market, but around, the United States about potential lockdowns with the Delta variant, things of that nature. And obviously that will affect the market as well. Okay, questions coming in. On the pins trade, why not wait for the confirmation for direction with overall market considerations as well? Very, very good question. I think part of that, Riz felt pretty strongly about it. I think that is one reason that he went ahead and jumped in. I do have to kind of agree with you on that one, Aaron. I think it was a little bit premature. Now, looking at in hindsight, going, okay, maybe that was a bit of a jump, but it's one of those plays where, a knife catch is a straight up knife catch, and that's just all there is to it. So it's one of those ones where earnings were spectacular. The outlook was spectacular. And so it's one of those things where Riz, I think, felt that it basically was just kind of a knee-jerk reaction to everybody saying, like, oh my gosh, the subscriber number is down. or the registration, or no, it was subscribers if memory serves. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, but everything for the company is looking spectacular right now. So I think this is one of those ones where Riz didn't necessarily want to miss out on a potentially massive upswing. Because some of these, and I've seen this before when I was day trading, you would have these moves on earnings that were really unjustified. And I mean, you could literally have a gap fill in a day. I've seen it happen before. Whoops, that is not what I wanted. About that. And it's one of those things, I think it was a calculated risk. And so I won't fault you definitely for waiting. If you did decide to wait on, getting in on this one, then, you definitely could. I don't disagree with your analysis either. I think it's definitely a play you could make if you want to be more cautious. I think that was just more of a bit of an aggressive play, right, Riz? And that's kind of why he went ahead and jumped in on that. All right, Anthony wanted me to look at Zip. Okay, this is an IPO, a very recent IPO, been around since May 26th. So basically a baby. There's really not a whole lot I can say about this other than it's an uptrend right now. That is really about all I can say. It does look like we have some resistance here around 2680-ish, I would say. So if you're looking to, run this one, then I would want to see a break above that. Before I jumped in, you'll also notice that, volume is down. Looks like we're under 1 million shares a day, which is not spectacular. Some days about 250,000. So liquidity could be potentially an issue. Obviously on opening day, 16 million. That seems fun. But then after that, it's been pretty much downhill for the volume as far as that's concerned. So I would be a little careful with this one. Again, recent IPO, really not much for me to look at and say other than, okay, we've got like this, and we've got this. And that's pretty much all I can show you right now. There's no moving averages because this thing hasn't been around long enough for it to actually have moving averages. So, I mean, we're basically purely basing this off technicals right now. I don't know the fundamentals for this company. So, I mean, for me, like I said, I want to see a push over 2680, 2690. That would be kind of my signal that this thing is breaking out. But yeah, I'd be careful with this. Again, recent IPO, there really is no data, so it's pretty much a coin flip. Matthew wants us to take a look at Micron. This is one that if you've been in an elite for a while, you should be very familiar with this ticker. We have played this quite a few times. Micron getting hammered right now pretty much with the chip shortage, it would appear, and running into the 200 simple moving average. I want to see it bust over that before I take this thing long. Plus, this is still in a spectacular downtrend right now. We'll just go ahead and swing it in right about there. I mean, if you want to be like super perfect, we could do it like that. But I think this looks better. I like the look of that better. We can just ignore that candle, right? So I'll get to that one next, Matthew. But yeah, Micron right now in a downtrend. I want to see a break of that before I consider taking this long. It's somewhat similar to, Bitcoin here. We had a fake out on the Bitcoin downtrend and it came right back in. And then after that, we had the true breakout here. So same, concept here on Micron. Let me see here. Is this 75 going to be kind of a big psychological level for the most part? 74, 75. Nothing there. So if we want to go ahead and mark up this chart and put a lot of stuff on it, let's go ahead and do that, right? That's what the real cool traders do, isn't it? They put like a gazillion lines so you can't see anything. And then you're like, oh my gosh, he must be right because he's got 50 lines on his chart. Let's see. Yeah, right about there. So, and let's do like one or two more just to make sure that we have the full inverted bat pattern going on. Okay, so to make sure that everyone's confused and can't see a darn thing, I've written as many lines on here as possible. But basically, it looks like, let's take some of these superfluous lines off. I think you guys got the joke at this point. That one can go, this one can go. Basically, it would appear as though this 74, 75 area is going to be pretty solid for Micron right now, but we're running into the 200 moving average, and it didn't continue to push over it on Friday. Now, that's not overly surprising. We didn't have a really positive move in the market to kind of help bolster that move here on Micron, but it's still in a downtrend in my eyes, and until I see a break of that, I'm not going to be really comfortable going ahead and jumping in. Again, fundamentally, MU is good to go. I mean, look at all these lovely green earnings reports here. Almost 10% beat here on our last earnings report for the was released on the 30th of June. So really solid numbers for Micron, but it was not rewarded at all. It was actually punished for those good numbers. And it's one of those things that does happen in the market from time to time. But again, with the chip shortage, I'm a little concerned. Is really what it comes down to. So until we bust through that 200, I wouldn't take it long. If you want to YOLO it here, you can. I'd recommend going in reduced position size as opposed to just going, balls out, putting the whole farm on the brokerage account and betting it all on MU. I would not. That's not a bet I would take. But if you want to speculate, pretty good company to speculate with. Should I YOLO AMD? Laughy face. No. Not in the slightest. We had a discussion about this in Discord, and someone was asking, "Oh, should I go ahead and do puts on AMD because it's overbought?" And I made the comment in the Discord channel, well, things can stay overbought for some time. Well, looky here. We are incredibly overbought on AMD and no signs of stopping. Now, I want to talk about being rewarded for a 16% earnings beat. This is what it looks like, guys. Do not chase this. Do not take this long. And again, I don't recommend taking it short either. You got to let this one go because the move has already happened. You are late to the party, and you are getting in on something that is already starting to go parabolic. And the last thing you want to do is be buying in here at like 107 and then be stuck holding the bag for months because this thing rolls back over and we have some lockdown thing again, if that maybe potentially happens. And then you're just kind of stuck holding it. So I would not YOLO this thing either direction. We got to wait on AMD. This is a classic case of patience paying off because you can look at movers like this and be like, oh, I should have known. I should have known when it got here to 99.86 that I should have jumped in right there because I should have known that it was going to go to 105. No one knows what direction it's going to go. And when something is going nuts like this, we even have less of an idea of what direction it's going to go. So wouldn't YOLO this. I'm guessing that was more of a joke. But thank you for bringing that up, Matthew, because it does make a very solid point here about why you can't use just one indicator to make a trade. You can't be looking at just the RSI and going, aha, it's overbought, time to short. Or, aha, it's oversold, time to buy. What would be a good entry point? I want to see it pull back and I want to see it hold an area for a little bit. I'm not just going to name off a number here. I mean, I could like throw some lines up again if that would make you feel better. But, clearly it looks like about 95 seems to be relevant. So if we see a pullback and we find a base somewhere that has some historical support resistance data to suggest that it is significant, that would be a potential place that you could look to enter. But right now you're chasing. And you're chasing a stock that's overbought and already gone parabolic. That's a good way to wreck your account. More of, Yas, that is a dirty word here. He said the F word, guys. And it's not the 4-letter F word. He said the 5-letter one, which is even worse, Forex. Okay. So there's a lot more that goes into pricing of currencies and currency pairs than just one factor. So I'll read the question for the YouTube video so you guys know what the question is. It says, with the Canadian dollar / US dollar appreciating, can we expect to see Canadian dollars at 2011 levels? Oil increases, Canadian dollar appreciates, inflation slows down. Is this how it works? Not necessarily. There's a lot more, again, that goes into, the value of a currency than just one particular factors. There are a lot of things that go into it. It's not as simple as just like, okay, oil goes up and the Canadian dollar appreciates, so then the U.S. CAD pair should do this, or you see this certain pattern, so it should do this all the time. There's a lot more to it than that, and I will say, yes, that's more of probably of a Riz question. I don't really study Forex at all. Again, it's the dirty F word here in Riz Elite. We don't trade currencies. It is a very valid question, but I will say there's a lot more to it than just looking at one pattern. Just because one pattern works for a time period doesn't mean it always works. All right, SWKS. Skyworks Solutions. Let's see. Looks like another company that got blasted for a positive earnings report. Very positive look here. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, no problem. So this is about as indecisive a candle as you can get, but overwhelmingly, I would say there is a lot of buying pressure behind SWKS right now. Beautiful hit on the moving averages and a straight up rejection after it got down there. Immediately bought back up when we pushed down here. Looks like to 177-ish. Is that significant? Not really. It looks like it just found support out of nowhere, but I guess people thought it was a value buy at that point. So, that is a very positive symbol to me. If this is something that you follow and you like this a lot, this could be a pretty nice knife catch. I may swing this one past Riz. This is a very interesting pattern. I definitely like this. So really, really nice there. QCOM. Let's take a look at QCOM. Another one that we've traded before in Riz Elite. This is a one that you should be familiar with. Looks like a company that got rewarded for good earnings. Yep. Looking good. It's an Apple-related company. Well, Apple's been on a tear lately. We can take a look at Apple here in a minute. Yeah, so QCOM, nice gap up here on Thursday. Bit of a retracement on Friday. This looks a bit overextended to me. Again, we missed the boat, but the boat was earnings, and earnings, as most of us should know by this point, is pretty much a straight-up coin flip, depending on what direction the security will go and how people understand and interpret the earnings reports and the forward outlook as to what their the guidance, I should say, that's the word I'm looking for, guidance, forward-looking guidance as to what the security is going to do in the future. So this could go either direction at this point, and it's going to be a tough one to call and call it perfectly on which direction it goes on Monday. I think it'll be mostly dependent on the market, how the market's behaving, and some other things going on. Delta variant, stuff like that. So definitely a nice gap up here post earnings. Very, very nice green bar as well on Thursday. And it's one of those things where when you have this big gap up and you're able to hold inside this area, maybe we do some consolidation here, that it could make another leg towards the upside. So I'll be interested to see what it does, whether it kind of comes back down, because it was in a very nice uptrend before, very, smooth, pretty easy. And then it was definitely respecting the 200, as you can see here. And then after that, we just got this earnings bump, and we'll need to see what it does. Basically, what I'm going to say. So let me mention Apple. Apple been on an absolute tear since the end of June, just going crazy, basically blowing out the all-time high here. Currently around 150 per share is our all-time high here on Apple. Definitely a bit of a double top formation. I ain't going to short it because I'm not going to short the most fundamentally sound company on the S&P 500. If you do, then I would not hold for very long. I'll say that much. But oops, of course. Why would I do that? Right. Okay. That is a spam text, guys. It's like my code that I printed from my receipt came in on a winning draw, of course, that I didn't enter. Just click on this link. I'm sure nothing bad will happen to me, right, guys? Yeah, I don't think I'll be clicking on that link. But Apple looking pretty good right now. Not taking this either direction. We are extended past the moving averages, but the moving averages are definitely curling up to try and catch up with the security at this point after this huge bull run since the end of June. Very, very solid company, of course. Dividend coming up here. How much is that going to be? Wow, a whopping 22 cents per share. That's pathetic. Apple, you can do better. But yeah, I guess they didn't become the most fundamentally sound company on the market by giving money away all the time, did they? So, but a very nice bounce here off the 200 and a nice run up on Apple. I'd be careful with this one. One of those ones where it's kind of like, let's wait and see how it shakes out. What do I think about BKI for continuation? Black Knight. Well, man, that is a bull run if I haven't seen it. If I have seen it, very nice move here. Kind of found support in this area, right around the 70 area. Very nice push here. I like this. It definitely a lot of green days in a row has kind of basically given the finger to the market. Doesn't really care what direction the market goes, apparently. Yeah, it is definitely near overbought. Yeah, real estate definitely has been on fire too. And the Fed has definitely helped. Not going to lie about that. Earnings soon. Yeah, it looks like earnings are always a question mark. Man, this is a tough one because we have this huge bullish push over the 200 moving average. We came up here, we bounced off of it, found support again here on this historic level right around 78. That's about perfect. You couldn't ask for much better, support bounce there, and it just plowed through the 200 on Thursday. Really solid move and looking very strong right now. Earnings, as you mentioned, Aaron, is the big question mark. And that can go either direction. But like you said, real estate's on fire, and we mentioned that earlier, and I agree 100%. Got in at 79.89. Wow, nice. Good entry, bro. How to trade it? Yeah, that is a good question. And, Yash, you're not wrong. You're saying that volume is kind of starting to come down a little bit. I don't think it cares. This thing is just going right now. But yeah, earnings is the big question mark, in my opinion. So you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on how it's behaving closer to earnings if you want to continue to hold. If you want to take the quick profit, I mean, you're basically up $3 a share at this point. Not a bad profit. Don't know how many shares you're in. You don't need to share that. That's your own personal information. But yeah, I mean, a nice, quick, just about a little short of what, right around 4% move over just a couple of days if you got in here just recently. So not necessarily a bad thing. So I would say trade it with cautious optimism. I would like to see what it does on Monday, see what the market does on Monday. Again, our guidance has been to lock in profits more quickly recently as opposed to continuing to hold because there is so much uncertainty in the market right now. And I think that is something that a lot of us should kind of take to heart, is to make sure we're locking in those wins as opposed to just holding the bag, because there is a lot of stuff coming up on the horizon here that may not necessarily be a positive catalyst for the market. And it may just blow over and it may be nothing, or it could be something where we're like, wow, we really should have, closed out our profitable positions at this point. And I don't want to see you get holding the bag on something like that, especially if real estate does start to tumble a little bit. So just keep this one on a tight leash is my recommendation, Aaron, especially when you're up over $3 a share already. All right, Matthew says, take a look at powered brands. Penny stock bullshit. Don't trade this. There you go. That's my recommendation. This is garbage, guys. I mean, it's straight garbage. 17,000 shares traded, 20, 1,000. This is crap. Don't trade this crap. Oh, POW on TSX. Okay, my mistake. Okay, this is not penny stock bullshit. Thank you for correcting me on that. This is a Canadian stock. So looks like we're kind of running up here to this area of, resistance here right around $40 a share. Is looking pretty nice, but mostly doesn't move all that much. I mean, you can be like, but Chris, look what it did from here. And you'd be right in saying that, but that is a heck of a run. And it looks like we're consolidating at this point. Though I will say Friday was a very solid move, but earnings are coming up here, looks like in a few days. So just be cognizant of that and be around with that. Be aware, I should say, not around. Be aware of that going in, and you should be okay. Did I do AMD? Yes, I did AMD. My recommendation on AMD is wait. This is a chase. If you take this long now, it's a straight chase, and you could be holding the bag at 106 for a long time. Do I think the snap can fill the gap? Great rhyme there. Definitely in a downtrend at this point for the most part. Can it fill the gap? Yes. Will it? Good. Another good question. Earnings were actually decent. Still losing money, though. So there's always that to consider. Do people actually still use Snapchat? I thought it was all Instagram now. Hey, no problem, guys. No one uses Snap, then yeah, this. Can it fill it to the downside? Yeah, it absolutely can. It could also continue to consolidate here for weeks before it picks a direction. If the market makes a turn for the negative on Monday, you could definitely see this go with it. I wouldn't be surprised about that. However, this area here, right around 73.50, is definitely statistically significant for this security. So if you see a break and a hold below 73.50 or 73.60, I would be more confident taking this one short. But again, in this market, do not hold a short long term. I would just say that right now. Do not hold a short long term. Take your profits. If you get it and you get the move, then take it. Don't bag hold a short right now. Awesome, guys. Great questions as always. But yeah, of course, always great to have you all here. Great attendance tonight, guys. Great questions. Really appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to come out and just hang out with me on webinar or chat, and we can take a look at all of your questions. If you're not part of Riz Elite, make sure that next time that Riz opens up subscriptions that you get your tail in here and you can get all of your questions answered by myself or Riz when he gets on webinar. We're more than happy to take time. We love interacting with all you guys. It is an absolute blessing having each and every one of you here, and I really appreciate all of you being part of this community. So guys, let's keep an eye on things Monday. Let's relax Sunday. Let's take it easy. Let's spend time with those people that we care about the most, whether that be friends, family, your favorite pet, or your favorite video game, whatever it is that makes you happy. Let's do it tomorrow, and let's be ready to go on Monday, because I think we're going to see some moves. It's just a guess, but there's some good probability behind it, guys. So be aware of that, be prepared, and we will see you all in Discord on Monday. Good night, everybody.